a lot, and I feel like they're one of the easiest vintage accessories that you can add to an outfit. But I also know that they can feel intimidating for some people. So today, let's take the mystery out of how to wear a beret. What I love about berets is that decade after decade, they have been a part of everyday style. In real vintage photos, we see women wearing them pretty much the same way that we wear any practical accessory. Casually, confidently, and without overthinking it. I have always said that berets are the perfect gateway for wearing hats out in public. They're low profile, and as they have been consistently in style, people are less likely to do a double take if they see someone wearing a beret. So it's a great way to build up your confidence for wearing hats in public. A few years ago, I wrote a blog post on how to wear a beret. And lately, for some reason, it has been getting some attention again. So I just kind of felt like it was a good time to revisit it and actually show you how berets work, what hairstyles work with them, and really why they've stayed such a reliable piece of vintage fashion. Variants of felted wool caps have been around for centuries, long before anyone called them fashionable. Shepherds, soldiers, artists, revolutionaries, everyone wore some version of this shape. By the 1920s and 30s, the beret made its way into women's wardrobes as a fashion staple. A few women wore berets so well, they basically wrote the style rules for the rest of us. Greta Garbo, the queen of effortless glamour. Her low forward placement became a 1930s signature. Marlene Dietrich, perfect if you love sharp tailoring and androgynous looks. Dietrich in a beret is peak attitude. Faye Dunaway as Bonnie Parker. Yes, it's a 1960s interpretation of the 1930s, but the film cemented the beret as a vintage icon in the modern imagination. And of course, the beret has that built-in femme fatale energy, dramatic without trying too hard, and just structured enough to look deliberate. Different aesthetics, but the same hat, which shows you that the beret can adapt to your style, not the other way around. I get the question all the time, how do you actually wear it? Honestly, you just put it on. That's the whole secret. After that, there are really two main placements. Pulled down on the forehead, very 1930s, kind of clean silhouette, then pushed back slightly, showing a little bit of your hairline. It's a little bit softer that way. And then you just rotate the little tab until it looks right for you. Here's the original footage I filmed a while ago for my blog that shows you different ways that you can position the beret. Something that people tend to overthink is how the beret stays on. Wool naturally has structure and grip to it, so when you pull the edges down slightly, it hugs your head. There's no elastic, no combs, it just works. If your beret feels unstable, reposition it. When it's in the right place, it should feel secure without you really having to negotiate with it. There are a few things that can make a big difference though. You really want to place it lower than you think. Too high up on the crown can really make it unstable. Using dry shampoo or even a texture spray, if your hair tends to be really silky, that can really help with the grip. If you need to, you can hide 1 or 2 bobby pins or hairpins at the temples or at the ears, but don't fight the hat. And maybe skip the hair oils on days that you're going to wear a beret. You don't want it to be too slippery. You can style your hair in various different ways with berets. Short hair is simple. The beret does most of the work. You'll want to set it a little slightly forward to give it something to grip onto. Bob and shoulder length hair is classic for vintage berets. If you've set your curls, you can set the beret back so the front wave or curl shows. Or if you're wearing your hair straight, it does work better if you move the beret forward just a little bit on your forehead. Long hair can compete with a beret, so really the trick is to keep the focus near your face. So soft waves work really well. They balance the shape of the hat without overwhelming it. But if you prefer to wear your hair straight, let it fall naturally and place the beret a little bit more forward so the silhouette doesn't look too bottom heavy. Curly or wavy hair looks fantastic with berets. Just try not to squish the crown too much. Push it back so your curls can still keep their shape. Low chignons, buns, and ponytails look great with berets too. I like to wear them off to the side a little bit and maybe feature a curl, a roll, or a wave in the front just to balance it all out. Before I wrap up, I do want to touch on something that people don't always talk about, the fabric. Not all berets are wool, and different materials behave differently on your head. Some give you a little bit more structure, some are better for warmer days. So here are the main types that you will probably run into and what they actually do. Wool berets, this is the classic. These are the standard pretty much. Wool is structured, warm, and naturally has grip. This is why it stays pretty much without pins. If you're buying your first beret, start with wool. It's the easiest to style and the most historically common from the 1930s onwards. Knit or crocheted berets were very popular in the 1930s. You still see them in catalog illustrations and can find knitting patterns for them still. They're lighter, softer, great for transitional or warmer weather. They also sit a little bit more relaxed on the head, which gives you that casual, slightly bohemian 1930s feel. Structured berets and twill berets. I have a few berets of a woven fabric, usually cotton twill or linen blends or other structured material. They often have a banded brim. These behave a little differently from wool. The band gives them a cleaner, more tailored silhouette. They don't stretch the way wool does, so you will need to make sure that it fits the measurements of your head. This style was very common in the late 1930s and 40s, especially for spring and summer hats. It's a great option if you want the beret shape without the warmth. So that is my updated guide. Berets can give you an effortless look, and they're really one of the easiest accessories that you can wear. If you wear them, let me know what your favorite way to style them is. And if you're new to hats, a beret is genuinely the best place to start. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.